41 past the hour, joining us now, and Joe's excited about this. NBA Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul, who is now a columnist for Time magazine. Very good to have you here with us this morning. You're also the author of the new book for young adults, Stealing the Game, which we're going to get to, that actually has parallels to everything we're talking about this morning. It doesn't seem like it would, but it does. You wrote a piece in Time following the Charlie Hebdo attacks, basically making the premise that the terrorist attacks are not about religion. Can you explain that?
It's a play for money and power, and these people try to impose their will on people so that people will listen to them and they can be in charge. That's all it's about. They've taken on a fascist attitude and a fascist approach to everything. You do what we say or you die. And
yet, Joe, religion is being used. I mean, we can't deny the fact that religion is being used and plays a role in this. I think everyone's stumbling on this.
An extreme, twisted version of the religion. But I was going to ask you a question, and then I stopped myself, which was, I was going to ask, how tough is it to be a Muslim in America? And then I stopped myself saying, my God, you were really on the forefront of this back in the early 70s. How difficult was it then? How difficult is it still today?
When I first became Muslim, we were under the radar. I mean, no Muslims had done anything crazy, and we stayed under the radar. Most Muslims lived a peaceful and prosperous life here in America. Right. And then 9/11 came, and all of that changed.
Everything
How
changed.
difficult is it now?
It can be difficult, but I think there's more and more understanding of how this process happens.
Right.
Especially when you can make parallels to things that have happened here in America, like the Ku Klux Klan saying that they are the Christian Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and they do not practice Christianity that any of us are familiar with.
Right.
And then you can see that any group can do this. There was an article in yesterday's New York Times about the First Crusade, and the first people that they sacked were Jews living in Europe. They devastated them, took all their wealth, and kept on their way to the Holy Land. Right. So, people use that as an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's no excuse. Right. And oppressing one group means that we have to look out. All groups have to get together to fight that type of oppression, because we all should be free.
So, and I think art and literature are ways to do it. Tell us about Stealing the Game, your latest book.
Stealing the Game is about growing up and trying to play basketball and trying to cope with life. The demands that the game puts on you, how do you get along with people that you want to be friends with, conflict resolution, all of those things that young people have to contend with as they try to get to adulthood. And I use my own life as a template, just trying to fit in and thank heaven for basketball.
In what way?
In every way. I stood out physically. Intellectually, you want people to respect you. That you don't want to come off as a dummy.
Right.
And a lot of times, kids are so tough on each other.
Yeah.
Right.
So we talk about all these issues. It's about diversity. There's one main character. She's a Muslim. She's a great basketball player. And she has to try to fit in.
And sports really can be a bridge. We see that in popular culture and like Remember the Titans, but it also does happen in basketball locker rooms and football locker rooms.
Nixon, ping pong diplomacy. Right. That's opened up the door to China. Joe Louis beating Max Schmeling, all of a sudden it changed people's ideas about black Americans. Jackie Robinson. All of those different milestones enable us to see each other as human beings instead of they're different.
That would be accepting differences, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we struggle so hard as kids, and you talk about the struggle to fit in. You can't fit in. You're different, but that should be, in a way, part of the process of
celebrate.
Assimilating.
Yes.
And celebrated, yeah.
And especially if you're a good rebounder, you can fit in better.
You got some value.
And now I've got an 11-year-old girl. Is this when you say young adults? Is this good for
up to 12? Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Very nice.
All right, I'm going to take
Kareem
this
Abdul, thank you so much. The new book is Stealing the Game. Get it.
It's an honor. Thank you so much for being here.
Up next,
Appreciate it.
Joe, it goes on. It goes on. Fashion icon and former editor-at-large of Vogue magazine, Andre Leon Talley, is here next on Morning Joe.
Hopefully you'll help me dress better.